Chiefs are laying 3.5 tonight against the Jags. The Chiefs are minus 200. The Jags are plus 165. Your total is 45 and a hook. That is down from 46 and a hook yesterday. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I'm going to be on the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. And I feel like the Chiefs are a touch overvalued from whipping up on the Ravens last week. A Ravens defense that by the end of that game was missing 7 starters. We saw yesterday against the Texans that the Ravens are just a mess right now. And I think Jacksonville can keep it close. I like the hook here.
I feel like I could feel the pain when you said that. Because here's the thing.
It hurts.
Like, the Jags have had some good games this year. But you look at the quarterback roster that they have faced. They faced Bryce Young. Yeah. They faced Jake Browning, C.J. Stroud, and a patchwork offensive line. And Mac Jones. And maybe we put some respect on Mac Jones' name. But, like, those are not good quarterbacks. And so now you look at a Chiefs team that is starting to get healthy. Xavier Worthy is supposed to be playing in this game, even though he's popped up on the injury report. Because that's my problem with this, is that if the Chiefs are peaking, well, maybe not even peaking. They don't even have to be at, like, 75% to be a great team because they have Patrick Mahomes. And this is prime time. And it feels like this is a spot in which the Chiefs have done well at. The Chiefs in the Patrick Mahomes era, I believe, are 39-10, straight up as favorites on the road. So, like, the road doesn't bother Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And how much do you trust Trevor Lawrence in this spot against a good team and a good defense? Because I will say this, say what you want about the Chiefs, but their defense has been consistently great. This season, Trevor Lawrence, completion percentage of 58%, 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Do you want to put your money on Trevor Lawrence against a good defense?
I'm putting my money on Travis Etienne against this Chiefs defense. I think that's where I'm going here. Like, that's what I think the game script is going to be for Jacksonville. Like, I don't want Trevor Lawrence slinging it around. But also, if you look at the Chiefs defense, while they are a very good defense, they're much better against the pass, right? So they're not nearly as good against the run. They're 22nd in the NFL against the run. So I think if you're Jacksonville, do you really want to have Trevor Lawrence throw it around? Maybe you get a 3 and out, you get Patrick Mahomes on the field. No, you want to slow down the game. You want to keep Patrick on the sidelines. And I think a way to do that is try to control this game with time of possession and run the ball. And Travis Etienne has been really good this season. Like, he had 124 yards on the ground against the Niners last week, had 143 on the ground, I should say, against the Panthers in week 1. So, look, it all depends on whether or not the Jacksonville Jaguars can grind it out against the Chiefs because they are strong up front. But if they can, I think they can keep it close. And I think that's going to be their mindset going in, which is let's do that and then let Trevor pick his spots.
I think you have to be careful when looking at stats from this season because of the opponents that each team has faced. Because it's very easy to look at the Jaguars and say, whoa, this run defense is really good, giving up just 3.9 yards per carry. And then you look at the Chiefs and their numbers are way worse. But I'm not ready to sit here and say that this Jags defense is better than the Chiefs. Because you look at the opponents. Against the Panthers, the Bengals, the Texans, and the Niners. So I think sometimes early in the season, you have to take that with a grain of salt. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have played some really great teams. And even their run defense has been good against some teams that the Chargers, before their offensive line completely blew up. Omarion Hampton was the leading rusher for the Chargers and only had 48 yards in that game. They had to play the Eagles. And Saquon had 88 yards, which feels like a big deal now because he's having a terrible season. But it wasn't a game where the Eagles ran wild and the Chiefs barely lost that game. So I still feel like the Chiefs are the better defense in this game. And I think from a standpoint of betting, I think that is the thing that I want to bet on. So I'm going to go Jags team total under 21.5 for minus 130 because any way you slice it, I just don't feel like this is going to be a shootout. And I do feel like the Jags may struggle in the red zone here against a good Chiefs defense.
I think they might. I think I'm too affected by what's going on with the Ravens. Like last week, the book on the Chiefs was, all right, the Chiefs are back and they're dominant now and they're back to the old Chiefs team that we've seen before. It was only a matter of time before they break out. And that might be the case. Like that might be the case because Xavier Worthy came back. We know they needed help at receiver. They got it. He led the team in rushing. He led the team in receiving and the Chiefs looked dominant. But also the Ravens stink. So looking back and seeing how banged up this defense is, and again, it's one game, like that, I think in retrospect, while the Chiefs, I think, win that game no matter what, maybe they just beat up on a really bad Baltimore team. And I think because of that, because you can see lines affected week to week based on previous week performances, I feel like the Chiefs are just a touch overvalued here. Like I would have thought that this number would have been maybe Chiefs laying 4.5, something like that. I would not have thought 3.5. It just, when I see this line, it just screams Kansas City to me, and that makes me think, what am I missing here? Because if this is going to be a lower scoring game, and I think the under is the play as well, then I think you go with the team getting the extra half point, and to me, that's Jacksonville.
See, I feel like I am arriving at the same result, but for a different reason. Because
Okay.
I don't think the Chiefs are overvalued here. I think, 3.5 for a team that has the second shortest odds to win the AFC. Like, I don't think people have bought into the Chiefs just yet. Like, I don't think people look at that game last week and are like, oh, the Chiefs are back on the mountaintop. No, everybody still believes in the Bills as the team to beat in the AFC. For me, it's the fact that the Chiefs play these games to simply win the game. They are not trying to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They're going to dink it and dunk it and run up the time of possession. So to me, it's a matter of fact that this is the format that we've seen from the Chiefs in years in which they've won a lot of games, is that they're not going to beat you by more than a touchdown. They're not going to beat you by probably more than 3 points. So for me, it's that I think the Chiefs win, but I think that it's certainly going to be a close game because that's just kind of what we've seen from the Chiefs over the past, 3 years?
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it'll be Chiefs by 3. That's kind of what I'm banking on. I think I might put a small sprinkle on Jacksonville. I don't know why I'm big on Jacksonville. I just feel like this is a good spot for them, and I want to see how good Kansas City really is. If they grind this game out, then I think it'll be like a field goal game. Like if this is sitting at 3 or 2.5, I'm probably on Kansas City. If it's sitting at 3.5, then I switch sides and I think, okay, Jacksonville is probably the right side here, especially playing at home in a game where I think will be low scoring. What about props? I like a couple props here. Number one is I like Travis Etienne over 14.5 rushes. So he has hit this mark in every single game this season but one. So 3 out of 4. And the one he didn't was against the Bengals back on September 19th. Carried 14 times against the Bengals. So missed that by 1 carry in Cincinnati. But if you're Jacksonville, like I keep saying, I feel like the game plan is to feed Etienne as much as you can and try and churn some yardage up on the ground against a Kansas City team that does tend to give up yardage against opposing running backs. So I would lean to the over there. And I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 carries. I know you like that bet as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the sabotage factor for Travis Etienne, because I think on paper it looks like a good one. But like we like to look at both sides of the coins. It's not me picking on you. It's just I think, you look at the sabotage factor. Is the fact that like his carries have hit this number in every game that's had a winning game script. So that is your sabotage factor, is that if the Jags are in a losing game script, this is the one time that he didn't hit it. I will say he had 14 carries in that one game they lost against the Bengals. But just do keep in mind when it comes to running back, sometimes the game script matters, and the Jags could be playing from behind.